Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to Post Cologne. Today we're taking a look at a new Armaf release, and it's Armaf's The Lions Club Rugir. Alright, Rugir is from the House of Armaf. It's from their Lions Club series. It's an eau de parfum concentration, and you can pick this sucker up for about $45. Link's gonna be down in the description if you decide you wanna check this one out. Also have some coupon codes, save yourself a few bucks at a variety of different places if you decide you want to shop with them. So we have ourselves another one from the Lions Club series. We have Rugir, I believe that's how it's pronounced. I believe it's a Spanish word for roar. Comment down below if I'm completely off on that, or if I nailed it, congratulate me, because that's not a language I speak. Presentation on this, quite simple design on the front here, all the necessaries on the back, but this is just part of the presentation. That is a slide off cover, and the box presentation is quite nice. Nice thick cardboard box, has the Lions Club on the side there, nice shimmery kind of glossiness. Name of the fragrance house right there. And we do have this little window that is revealing our fragrance bottle that is sitting nicely inside this open door like so, with a nice little presentation there for the box. And our bottle presentation is unique. If you've watched the Monarch video already, you'll be familiar with this, just a different color style of bottle. So has some weight to it. Name of the fragrance house right there. Lions Club right there, but this strap is a little bit different. So it does have this lion that's sitting on this kind of like snap metallic magnetic sort of thing, and it takes a second to kind of clip it in place, but not a huge fan of this strap. It kind of gets in the way. You got to kind of hold it back like that, but minor detail. It's just the presentation, and the atomizer on this sucker is quite nice. Nice long sprays on this, good distribution, absolutely get the job done overall. So for $45, Armaf kind of sticking to what Armaf does best with the presentation. So overall, it's unique. So if you were wondering what Armaf's The Lions Club Rugir smells like, you've come to the right place. So I'm about to tell you. Some of the notes listed in this are a lavender, apple, mandarin, bergamot, violet, jasmine, geranium, vanilla, gaiac wood, amber, pink pepper, sandalwood, patchouli, and some cardamom. So let me tell you what I got from this fragrance. In that opening, you get that sweet apple that comes through, very bright, crisp style of apple that's in there, mixes with a little bit of citrus. You get some like mandarin sweetness that comes through, and you get this lavender and the geranium aromatics in there. So a very bright, fresh, clean, sweet style of opening to this one. And you do get those spices coming up from the base. So you do get like kind of like this there. You do get this kind of spiced apple accord that comes through, mixing in with those aromatics. And as this gets to the midpoint, more of this geranium starts to come forward and the patchouli. So it takes on much more of like a heavier, earthier sort of feel. That brightness, that freshness that was in the opening really transitions into more of kind of a green accord that comes through with those aromatics. And it really, on my skin at least, is very kind of patchouli heavy. So you're getting a lot more of that earthiness coming through. Still mixes in with the kind of aromatic cleanness and that sweet apple, but has that spice. But I do get a lot of patchouli and geranium coming through. And as you get towards the dry down, it really transitions from that apple sweetness into more of a vanillic sweetness. More of the woods come through, so you get this kind of rich, deep gaiac wood mixing in with this nice, smooth, kind of creamy sandalwood. Works really well with that vanilla accord. And it just turns into this kind of woody, vanillic, almost ambery, spiced ambery style of dry down, and really enjoyable dry down. But it does transition very like from a very bright, fresh, sweet style of fragrance into kind of more of a darker, richer, woodier, vanillic style of fragrance in that dry down. Very similar to the Parfums de Marly's Leighton. More so in the dry down, I find the opening to these two fragrances, I find the apple sweetness, the brightness in Leighton is a lot more prominent than it is with the Rugir. I find like the patchouli and the geranium that come through add a little bit of a weight to it, a little bit more earthiness comes through, so it's a little less sweet than the Parfums de Marly's Leighton. So if that's something that you find too sweet in the Parfums de Marly, you might enjoy this one as an alternative to it. But I do find there are some differences. It's definitely going to remind you of Leighton with that apple sweetness that comes through, but I just find this one to be like slightly darker and a little bit greener than the Parfums de Marly. About 70%, I'd say, in terms of alignment. But when you get towards the dry down, it does get a little bit closer to that Parfums de Marly. So if you're looking for a little bit of a twist on the Parfums de Marly's Leighton, you might want to check this one out. So when it comes to the performance of Armaf's The Lions Club Rugir, I get decent performance off this. Projection is moderate. It goes about 90 minutes and it does push off, you know, be armed at arm's length before it does settle back in. But when it does settle back in, it does kind of settle in a little bit closer than that perhaps I would like, but it does linger for quite a while. I am finding the longevity on this is pretty good. I'm getting about 8 hours before it really fades into a skin scent, but for the duration of that 8 hours, it's really not pushing off when you use an average amount of sprays. Get some on your clothing and it does go a little bit longer. You can't get this into the next day if you smell your shirt, but overall it's an average performer, nothing too crazy. The longevity is decent, but the projection I wish was a little bit better, but overall not pleased, but not necessarily disappointed either. So when it comes to the where and when, I think Armaf's The Lions Club at Rugir would be most appropriate. I think this definitely kind of has that spring vibe, but it could fit the bill when it comes to the fall as well, just because of that dry down where more of those woods come through and that vanillic sweetness with more of that kind of green earthy touch. But it does have that kind of freshness, that brightness, that kind of that green aspect with the aromatics that would fit the bill for spring. I think this might get a little bit too sweet or a little bit too dark when it comes to the summertime. So the hot, humid heat, this might kind of be pushing the line, but you do you figure out what works for you. But I do think the high heat, this might get to be a little bit too much. And I do think for the winter time, this would have a little bit of a tough time getting through some of that kind of colder winter days. So I think fall and spring is pretty much where this one's gonna sing. And in terms of occasions, I think this is a great casual wear style of fragrance. I think this could work on date nights as well. Has that sweetness going on to it, has that kind of aromatic cleanness at some points, but when it gets to the dry down, has more of that kind of deep, rich woodiness there with that vanilla and that spice that's mixed in. So I think it would work really good for those date nights. In terms of formal occasions, I think you might be able to get away with this. This does have a bit of a flirty side with that opening, with that sweetness that comes through, but like I said, the dry down has a little bit more elegance going on to it, so you could wear it for formal events, but I do think it's best fit for casual and date night. But like I said, you do you. But overall, good spring fall style of fragrance that's great for casual nights and date nights. So my overall thoughts on Armaf's The Lions Club Rugir. I think this is a decent fragrance. It's a great twist on that Parfums de Marly's Layton. If you're looking for something a little less sweet, maybe a little bit more green that goes on to it, that has a similar style of dry down, I think it's gonna get you pretty close with this one. I do wish the performance was a little bit better. I wish this kind of pushed off a little bit more, but you know, they can't all be beast modes. But I do think the quality on this is pretty good. I think this, like, for $45, this definitely stands up, bang for your buck. You're definitely getting that quality. The oil concentration on this is really nice. So overall, it's not a must-have in my opinion, but I am glad that it's in my collection. When I am looking for kind of a Parfums de Marly style of fragrance, I think this is definitely gonna fit the bill. So overall, nothing I would necessarily recommend to rush out and get, but if you really like that Parfums de Marly Layton style of DNA and you're looking for a little bit of a twist on that, you might want to check this one out. That's Armaf's The Lions Club Rugir. And I want to hear from you guys. What's another Armaf fragrance you want to see me do a review on? Comment down below. Love hearing from you guys. Love getting your different recommendations, your hidden gems, different taste and scent profiles. Appreciate you. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see y'all next time.